Minutes past 8. Good to have you this morning. Hope you have a brilliant Wednesday. Now, our spotlight on breakfast this morning is about fly tipping. I don't know about you, but I certainly have noticed more household waste dumped by the side of roads and on the verges of grass during my week off last week. Have you? Because there has been a rise in the amount of rubbish being fly tipped across Coventry in the last year. Over 3,300 incidents. That's more than a 40% increase in 12 months. What is going on? We'll be hearing from the Deputy Leader of the City Council, Abdul Khan, to find out how they're tackling the issue. But speaking to me in the last hour of the show, Leader of the Conservative Opposition, Gary Ridley, said more could be done to find a resolution.
We're just a couple of weeks away now from the change over to the fortnightly collection. So we need to start thinking about these things. What impact is that going to have? And one of the things I want to raise today is partly around the fact that we put forward this additional funding that was voted down by the Labour group, but also can we look at other councils to see what's going on there? Coventry is actually one of the worst authorities in Coventry and Warwickshire for dealing with this issue. So what is it that makes the other authorities good? We need to start looking at that best practice and we need to start seeing if we can roll it out in Coventry.
Well, let's speak to Deputy Leader of the City Council, Abdul Khan. Good morning.
Morning, Trish.
Sobering news this morning. You know, accusations that Coventry City Council is the worst in Coventry and Warwickshire in dealing with fly tipping. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't agree with that. There is a league table. We're actually in the middle of the league table. So from that, I could say that we're neither bad, but we're not good either. I've been listening, obviously, to the radio earlier on, and I've listened to some of the comments made by the people who've called in. Now, I want to make clear from the outset that the London tip, for instance, doesn't make any charge for depositing refrigerators. So you can turn up as a member of the public and leave a refrigerator there at no cost. One of your callers spoke about a van, having the ability to take a van in. I agree with her because obviously every now and again I'll have a clear out. But vans are allowed. All you have to do is call the council, book it 24 hours in advance, and you'll find when you turn up, give them your postcode, they'll let you in. There's no problem at all.
Because, we'll come to the fridge aspect in just a moment, but it kind of worries me, Abdul, to say, if you're sort of glibly saying, as it seems you are, that, we're middle of the table, so we're not neither bad or not good. Shouldn't we be aiming to be, the best city council at dealing with fly tipping? Haven't you got that motivation to do that?
No, we have. I was trying to put, the listeners put the debate into context. Of course, we'll do what we can to continue to tackle the issue of fly tipping. But what we have found, people are more able to report incidents to us. They've got the online facility now.
What are they? Are people reporting? How many calls did you get in this year alone of people reporting?
Well, I don't have the record of how many calls were made, but as a ward councillor for Fosal, which is one of the three wards which is affected disproportionately by this, residents tell us, they'll see us and I'll say, look.
But surely you must have some idea of, you've set up this online tool by the council to report online fly tipping. Surely you should have some idea if it's useful and being effective. Are people reporting fly tipping to the council?
Yes, they are.
Well, how many?
But I haven't got the figures with me.
Well, shouldn't you have the figures?
Well, I didn't think it was important to have the figures here.
But if you haven't got the figures, how do you know if the online tool is working of people reporting fly tipping?
Well, as I said, I didn't look into the figures, so I can't help you with that today.
What can you help me with then?
Well, I've come obviously to explain that some of the information which is being given is incorrect. What we found, the fly tipping usually consists of furniture. We don't get as much kind of household refuse being dumped. It does happen. You'll see bags here and there.
Right, there's been 3,300 incidents in this year alone. 40% people fly tipping. It's not just going to be sofas. So what else are they fly tipping, and what are you doing to tackle it, Abdul?
Well, again, once it's been reported to us, either through a ward councillor or if somebody does email or call in, we'll send a team out and they'll have a look at what's been tipped. They'll look to see if they can find any evidence to link the items with any occupier of a property or anybody in particular. And obviously we'll get it removed as soon as we can.
Okay, so then what happens then? So, your people go out and they see there's been fly tipped, and you try and link the rubbish with someone who's doing it. And then what happens?
Well, if we can positively identify somebody who's tipped or allowed their goods to be tipped, because as an owner of a property, if you give items to somebody who's not licensed, then you can still be liable if they tip.
Have you lost control of this problem, Abdul?
No.
Okay, what about the reducing of people who were working in this? Because previously, fly tipping was an environmental crime.
Yep.
You've now reduced the number of total officers working on these areas to just 10 across Coventry. Is that why there's so much fly tipping? Because you haven't got the resources to deal with it?
No, because a lot of the officers will respond to specific complaints about fly tipping.
But is 10 people enough?
Well, we could always do, with more.
So why did you reduce it?
Well, we had constraints, financial constraints imposed by the government. We had to make decisions, but in respect to funding for the specific issue of fly tipping, that funding wasn't reduced. And
what about these suggestions by Gary Ridley that said, well, listen, they put a proposal in plan, £350,000 to deal with the issue of fly tipping, but it was rejected by the council. What do you say to that?
Well, what we tend to get via the opposition, especially on budget day, is an alternative budget. We look at that and we decide whether what they're telling us is going to assist. We took the decision that the money which they were taking was from trade union facility time. We didn't want our relationship with our employees to get strained in any way, because of course they're the people who provide the services to the public of Coventry.
So you thought the proposal didn't make sense?
No.
So look, the council meeting is at 2:00 this afternoon. 40% increase in 12 months. It doesn't look like it's set to decrease. What are the firm steps that the Coventry City Council are going to do to tackle fly tipping, Abdul?
Well, what we will do is we will look at where the hotspots are, and as I've said,
we know there's 3 hotspots. There's 3.
It's Fosal, Upperstroke, and St Michael's. In areas where there's constant fly tipping, because people tend to choose a particular spot, we will hopefully install, and we've done it in the past, install covert surveillance,
which will cost money. So obviously that's going to cost us.
Well, that's already we've already ordered the cameras, so I mean that's already been done.
Well, how much is that costing?
I haven't got the figure of the cost, but I know we've got them on their way, and they'll be installed. But
hold on a minute, Abdul. This is kind of alarming me. You don't know how many people are online reporting online fly tipping to you. You've got no idea how much it's going to cost us, the taxpayers, for this new CCTV for these wards that are significantly fly tipping. What have you got the answers to this morning? Well, I've got the answers to what the public probably want to hear. I mean, I wasn't asked or advised that you'd want to know the figures. What I'm telling you positively is we are taking action. We've ordered cameras. They've been paid for. So if I gave you the figure, I think that's immaterial, because they're on their way. I'm not telling you today it's not immaterial, because we're paying for it.
Well, I'm not telling you today that we need more money. I'm telling you, we've actually already taken action. We've ordered the cameras. Okay. All right. Well, okay. I must admit, I'm scratching my head. I don't seem to have had any questions answered this morning. But thank you for coming in. The meeting's at 2:00 today with all members of the council and opposition. We'll hopefully get the answers there later on this morning. Thank you, Abdul Khan, Deputy Leader of the City Council. Let's have a quick look at the papers you are waking up to this morning. All stories point to love between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the American film star. She's given a big interview in